I am driving to South Carolina today for a appointment at a spine institute tomorrow. It is about 1 o'clock, and the boys and I left this morning at 7 a.m. Got a couple more hours to go. It's a long haul down to South Carolina. And as I was driving, I was thinking about this journey that I've been on to find answers to why I am in so much pain every day after a car accident that happened over 2 years ago now. And everybody is going through something. I think about that frequently now that this has happened to me and put me on this journey that I never asked to be on. And if you're going through a tough time, try to remember when you're in those dark moments, because there's going to be dark moments regardless. We're humans. Life is not always rainbows and glitter. But I want you to remember that when you're going through a struggle and a tough time, those are the moments that we grow the most. I really am a firm believer that tough times and challenges are what define who we are. It helps us grow, it helps us become better people if we allow it to. And half the battle when you're going through something really difficult, whether it's in your business or if it's personal, is your mindset. And I learned that really quickly after the car accident that I was in. I left the house to go walk the dogs the morning that it happened, like I would any other time. And in a split second, my life changed forever. And of course, I didn't know that years later I was still going to have chronic pain that so far nobody's been able to resolve. But I did quickly realize that I wasn't going to be able to keep running my business the way that it was running. I had to pivot because I could barely walk after this happened and didn't get hip surgery for almost a year later. And I had 6 months of emergency savings built up, but it's very difficult to get out and meet with clients and show houses and run listing appointments when you can barely walk and stairs were really tricky. So within that, I was really, really depressed. I was scared. I was down and trying to figure out how to navigate this new life that just suddenly happened to me. And I was having panic attacks when I was driving after it initially happened, and I realized I really need to talk to somebody about this. So I got into therapy and am still in therapy once a week to this day. And what therapy helped me do is understand first to give myself grace and accept that I'm not the same person that I was when it happened. And when you have something happen in your life, it doesn't have to be that it was something really quick. It could be just a big change in your life that maybe you saw coming or maybe you didn't. Give yourself grace. It's adjusting to a new normal, and that can take some time. And it doesn't mean that every day you're going to be kind to yourself, although I would say that would really help. But I was so negative to myself, and my therapist said, "What would you say to a friend who is going through this?" And I thought, oh my gosh, I would never say the things to a friend that I'm saying to myself. And I've carried that with me through this process. And I relate this to when you are building a real estate business, especially when you're new, it is so easy to feel like you're not doing enough, feel like you don't know what you're doing, period, feel like everyone else is really successful and everything's going well, because social media makes it seem that way. It can be very lonely out there. And perception is not always reality on social media, as we all know. But I think that it can be difficult and challenging to keep going. And Whether you're brand new to real estate, just starting to grow your business, or if you've been in it for years, there's going to be highs and lows. It's just the nature of the real estate business. It's a tough industry. And running a small business, period, is really, really tough. So give yourself a pat on the back for having the courage to bet on yourself to start a small business. And then focus on one step at a time. That is what's gotten me through this challenge in my life. And I will never, ever stop looking for answers to why I am in so much pain. That's one thing that I know for certain, without a doubt. I will never stop. But I still have to live and function on a day to day basis in the meantime. And how I do that is I am very, very careful of where I spend my time and energy, because I have maybe half the energy that I used to have because my brain is constantly managing pain on top of everything else. So I had to redo my entire business and ask for help. I am terrible at asking anyone for help. But that's a lesson learned in this for me, that as much as I love helping people, people love helping me and you too. You just have to raise your hand and ask. My business has never been running smoother or leaner my entire real estate career, because I was backed into a corner of I'm either going to lose it all and have to close up shop, or I'm going to figure this out. And real estate is a part of me. I can't imagine my life without real estate. So systems went into place. I have more agents that help me with showings and attending inspections now. I have a killer virtual assistant. I have a killer media team who really, with the exception of recording my videos, I don't have to do much else. We regroup every month, but they handle all of that. It's completely off of my plate. And I think that when you're going through something, it's easy to feel just beaten down. And I'm not saying you won't feel that way. I still feel that way. But it's how long do you let yourself stay in that dark spot? You have to put one foot in front of the other, even if it's painful, even if it's unknown or scary and you're not really sure. If you just stay stagnant, you're not going to grow. You're not going to get through it. But if you start putting one foot in front of the other, and maybe some days that looks like 200 steps in front of the other, and maybe other days it looks like nothing, that's okay too. You're still making progress and working through the challenge. And it's okay to recognize that life has changed. It's okay to recognize that you're maybe not as capable of doing as much as you were because of a life change. Because within that, there's always good to be found. The good for me is that my business is now running so much more effectively, and I'm working so much less because of that accident. Nothing was broken before, but it could have been better. I was so busy running appointments and face to face with clients constantly and on the phone constantly, emails, that I wasn't recognizing when I was in the thick of it that my business could be running a lot more effectively. And sure, I wish the accident hadn't happened, but when something happens to you that you didn't want to happen, maybe you lost a deal, lost a listing, there's a lesson in that, and there's good within that if you choose to look for it and see it. And my biggest takeaway from this unexpected life event of mine is that life is still so good. That doesn't mean that it's not stressful sometimes. It doesn't mean that there aren't challenges. There are. But when you stop and really look around you, life is good. I am really blessed. I'm lucky I'm alive. I am lucky that I found this incredible therapist who helped me work through panic attacks while I drive. And while it's still not the same as it was before the accident, I'm really proud of myself that I can get in the car now and go to an appointment or take the dogs for a walk and not break down crying or start sweating and stressing because a car got a little close. And it all comes down to how you look at it. We can see the good or not. And I think that when you are in the thick of something, it's really when you find out what you're made of. It is what shows you how strong you are. And we all owe it to ourselves to take a minute, take a deep breath, and say, yeah, this is not how I expected things to go, but what can I learn from this? What is the good within this? And how can I move forward from this? And when it comes to real estate, I think this applies for business and personal, but when it comes to real estate, there are going to be days where it's the highest of high, and there are going to be days where it's the lowest of low, and it may happen all in the same day. It's about keeping things in perspective and reminding yourself that as long as you keep going and don't give up, you will get there. I hope you got some value from this. If you did, drop a comment below. And until I see you on the next one, thanks for watching.